Alright, welcome to Belshire Vestige in the top left corner of the map. We have the blue player from Team Root. It is Minigun. As a collective cheer of the audience shows that the hometown hero is the one being rooted for. And in the bottom right, we have the red Terran from Evil Geniuses, one of the best Terran players in the Western scene. It is DeMusliM. So it's going to be a Protoss vs. Terran on Belshire Vestige. We were talking earlier to begin, Sean, about what both players can do, but we kind of know what Minigun's going to do. He's going to try to go for a Stargate really early on with one of his first gas choices, and then he's going to go for a quick robo. But what will DeMusliM choose? We've seen DeMusliM go for all kinds of stuff. We even see him go command center first sometimes, but he's not going to do that in this case. He's going to go for a quick barracks. And on Belshire Vestige, I personally like going for a quick Reaper and then expanding and using the gas afterwards as a reactor expand. But I'm curious and interesting, Sean. What do you like to see on Belshire Vestige from the Terran player?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Reaper expands are great on this map. I mean, the watchtowers in particular have a pretty short hop distance from cliff to cliff, but a pretty long distance otherwise. So it's very easy to bounce back and forth and always have some vision control. It's also a very nice, easy way to do some scouting. Minigun sending out his early scout. One gate expand, almost certain. But I'm sort of curious what DeMusliM wants to follow this up with. Because, I mean, obviously the most common is going to be that sort of biomine. Or, excuse me, not a biomine opening, but a widow mine opening with some sort of drop pressure. We've seen that out of DeMusliM for a while. But more recently, we've been seeing players like Bomber go for fast upgrades, go for fast stim, do a lot of other bio-focused stuff with that gas.
Yeah, and I like that you brought it up, too, because we've seen DeMusliM show signs of that even in his earlier series in WCS when he was playing against Huck and Crank, and he promptly 2-0'd both of them. And Crank he is in the round of 16, so we do know DeMusliM is more than capable of beating these type of Korean caliber players. Surely I feel like DeMusliM has what it takes to take on Minigun as well.
Yeah, Minigun planning down a second pylon to be able to warp in to support its natural expansion. DeMusliM sending his SCV up into the main base. Now, this is, of course, a really weird thing to see as a Terran player. To get here and to see 3 in both gas geysers and a Zealot pop out. To me, that pretty much says, I am not going for an early expand, or if I am, you're going to see a ton of sentries out of me. This is just super duper uncommon to have. God, he still has 3 in each gas.
Right, and it all plays into this quick Stargate to get the Oracle, but still have enough to get the Robo. And it feels like it doesn't really make sense, but it's also because of the lack of emphasis on the early units from Minigun. After his first Zealots and the Stalker and Mothership Corps, he pretty much has almost nothing other than the Stargate units early on. That's how greedy he plays, and that is that thin line that he treads.
So it looks like we're starting to see Minigun advance forward. Will be taking his expansion. Look at all that gas banked up. I mean, this is characteristic of his style. He's got to get a lot of gas early, but I didn't quite realize it was that much gas. Minigun doing the usual scout with the Mothership Corps. Very easy to lose this. And wow, indeed, DeMusliM is going for the second barracks, along with a very fast +1 attack upgrade.
Man. Well, that's cool. That's a nice little take on it. I know for a long time, Flash was trying to make +1 in TVP really popular by like the 6-minute mark for a big poke. But since then, it's kind of fallen out of fashion. Oh, in fact, DeMusliM started the upgrade and then canceled it. Oh, interesting. I wonder what's going on through his mind. Sean, do you have any insight into this?
I mean, I would just say that this is a misclick. This should be going down right now. This is...
Huh. Well, I mean, he did stop it and then start stim promptly because I think he wanted to get that as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm investigating. I'm not quite seeing anything. Well, he's been selecting it, so maybe he thought to himself, God, I really think I do need stim earlier. So now he has enough for the +1. And he goes for the factory. What? Okay. Oh, an incredible error from DeMusliM to get that engineering bay that early and then to flub it.
Yeah, he hasn't even made a turret, really, in anticipation of any kind of Stargate play either. And the first Oracle is about to pop for Minigun. We're going to see how this ends up developing because DeMusliM is pretty much ignoring this engineering bay early altogether, although it does have the security of mind, which is I do have an engineering bay if I need it.
Yeah. One Oracle pops out, and of course DeMusliM spots it. No surprise there. I mean, Minigun may as well just declare, yes, I am a fast Oracle player. Hope that's okay. DeMusliM doing a very nice job keeping this one Reaper alive in the main base. he is getting some valuable information. He sees that there is, of course, no second Oracle in production. There's no Phoenixes already in production. Robo already popping out, and gosh, super fast double gas from Minigun. I mean, he's just massing up the gas up all over the place. 2 missile turrets deflect everything. I like this setup from DeMusliM. He's going to be able to go for a very fast drop, but I'm not sure if he'll have +1 for it because he started it and canceled it, and then a little later on started it.
Well, it does usually line up. If you get a +1, the conventional time is to get it by that 9:45, 10-minute mark for the medevacs.
Yeah.
But DeMusliM, he's kind of taken an interesting, indecisive route to it, but he still has that timing available to him because the starport is finishing up pretty quick relative to normal timings.
Boom, double medevac production begins. Not a lot of Marines, but that's kind of the idea. You want to make sure that all the Marines that you do have can hop up into the medevacs.
Very close call. Oracle's such a fascinating unit to me just because of that. It's how sometimes it feels like it never dies against the early units, and then sometimes it just dies a little too quick.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it dies faster than pretty much any other unit that you have as Protoss.
Right. Which dies already pretty quick as it is. And Minigun accepts that, and if you lost the Oracle early on, that makes you that much more insecure about what's coming up, because look at what he has back home, just 2 Stalkers and a Sentry until he gets his first Colossus out.
Oh yeah, I mean, the biggest blow to your confidence is absolutely going to be losing that Oracle. You have suddenly no vision, you're deeply aware of how much money and time you've wasted investing in that tech, and suddenly Minigun's going to start saying, wait a minute, where are the units, where are the units, where are the units? He's got to be attacking me. We're starting to see Minigun position all his stuff defensively. He's starting to rally Phoenixes to the back end to make sure that he can deflect drops there, and he does manage to pick off the reactor on the starport.
That's huge considering what his composition is, the Phoenixes and the Colossus. Minigun would like to stall till the 11-minute mark where he can get another Colossus, but he's going to use excellent force fields to pick off some of these Marines that didn't even have combat shield finished off, so they died extra quick.
Additional barracks en route for DeMusliM. His 3rd command center is done. DeMusliM, despite these little early losses, these little early slip-ups, it's the fundamentals that just help him carry through so consistently. He is getting his 2nd starport, extra turrets, getting upgrades. This Oracle from Minigun is being very, very annoying, but, I mean, Minigun's on 2 bases, and DeMuslim's going to be on 3 super soon. This is exactly how Teja took out Minigun.
And was able to utilize pressure to kind of pick apart Minigun surgically, as Minigun wasn't able to really deal with the fact that Terran was so aggressive. He didn't have any map control, and I was telling Greetor about, normally when we see Terrans be so forward on the map, Protoss use Zealot run-bys, use a Warp Prism, they try to do whatever they can to alleviate that pressure.
Yeah, some kind of counter pressure is super critical. Oh no, 2 Phoenixes, 3 Phoenixes will meet this drop, but it's not enough. They're not going to be able to pick off these in time. I mean, Phoenixes don't work well alone. They need the coordination of the other units, so Minigun is going to be, oh god, the medevac's, the full one dies. Oh, this is exactly what Minigun was hoping for. He picks off 1, 2 medevacs. Can he get a 3rd? The answer is going to be yes. Will he lose any Phoenixes? The answer is no. The 2 favorite answers of Minigun with this build order. Minigun still does not have a 3rd base, though, so despite those heinous losses, I mean, Minigun still not way ahead. DeMusliM still holding down quite strongly.
And he did lose a lot of workers, relatively speaking. Oh, actually, no, just kidding. I'll pull up the workers tab, only 6. I thought he would kill more. And with that, Minigun still has a couple of things that are impending doom. For example, he is one of those players that loves delaying his forges. He doesn't even have 1-1 started yet, let alone his forges.
Oh god, yeah.
And DeMusliM will try to see if he can punish that, although these Phoenix is doing a good job harassing Sean.
I mean, this is the flow that you don't want to permit a Phoenixing player to get in, which is that he holds off a drop and then can swing back. DeMusliM needs to be the one on the offensive, because if you think about it, there's really no good defense for Minigun other than the Phoenixes and the Colossus. So those need to stay back on defense. The instant DeMusliM pulls back, suddenly Minigun can begin getting aggressive with the Phoenix, and that's where the value from the Phoenixes comes from.
Ooh, but doesn't want to lose anything.
No!
Does manage to lose 1 Phoenix, but has to be cautious. Another one does drop. Yikes.
Not a good spot to be in. And I mean, as you say, 1-1 has not been started. There's the 2 forges. He's going to start him at 15 minutes. I mean, it's actually possible to have 3-3. Like, by 16 minutes.
Yes,
So.
if you go Creator Prime, who loves to chrono boost them out, but sometimes I've seen Minigun finish it at like 22, 24 minutes into the game, which is just absurd. That's when 3-3 would finish.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're going low on upgrades, you're going to have to be going high on the huge damage-dealing units that don't really need the upgrades. Immortals, Colossus,
right, and
Storm
can ignore upgrades as well, which is very nice.
But DeMusliM is advancing forward, building Vikings 4 at a time. Perfect answer. Armory is almost done. No second engineering bay. I'm not even sure he needs that second engineering bay. He's not trying to get way ahead on upgrades. He's trying to begin applying pressure with a lot of Vikings. That's where he wants to be spending his resources. Soon enough, he'll be able to add on. Oh, never mind. Oh, I found the second engineering bay.
Where?
Look at it. It's way up the north end of the base.
Well, so one thing that's really nice about DeMusliM is a quick tip to Terran players that he adds them to the control group of his barracks, so he can do it that way rather than searching for them and clicking on them. DeMusliM will have to be kind of careful. Doesn't want to get caught into a bad spot. Although Minigun doesn't have that many sentries.
Oh my God! Nice time warps, but no force fields to follow it up. So DeMusliM is able to sneak his way out. Mothership core falls, and you know we always talk about the number of Vikings to one-shot a Colossus, but don't forget one-shotting Phoenix is just as important because reducing those Phoenix numbers means that the key defense for Minigun is going to be gone. I honestly think this is the big weakness of Phoenix's, is that they don't outrange Vikings.
That's right, and Minigun hasn't had the opportunity to get the economy he needs for everything else. Switching into Templar, getting the Phoenix range upgrade on the Fleet Beacon, all these things are just putting Minigun at small disadvantages, and the fact that he has been taking the worst end of trades here, Sean.
And there's the engagement. He managed to bring a Colossus down to very low health, but oh my God, the Phoenixes are doing a nice job staying in and out of range. These Colossus at the backside are dealing significant damage, but God, DeMusliM's macro, too good. Marauders storm the front.
Ooh, doesn't even get the force field, but DeMusliM's going to take the safe route and try to take down these rocks. But the Phoenix has managed to pick off 3 of the remaining 4 Vikings.
So
excellent
sick.
job.
Oh my gosh, I think, did he whiff 1? No, he does have +1 attack, 2-2 now starting at the ever so early 17-minute mark. Oh gosh, every little positional error from DeMusliM will be punished by these Phoenixes. Great move. I mean, Minigun. This is where he starts to step ahead, begins to step into the aggressive mode. I actually am curious. If you look at the vision, there's been almost no movement for Minigun.
Yeah.
I mean, if I draw a line through the middle of the map, I mean, the Colossus have no units have actually moved south of that other than Observers, Oracles, and Phoenix. Just the Flyers.
And as a result, it really comes into play. It just limits the options of Minigun, I feel like. He has to just play so reactive based off DeMusliM's aggression, while DeMusliM has opportunities to move around the map. Phoenix have to be very cautious with how they engage, because again, they don't have that range. They almost instant-snipe, but one did manage to escape with 3 health.
The good old Pulse Crystals.
That's right.
One of the most sweetly named units, as you named upgrades in the game.
Anion Crystal Pulse. I used to think it was called Onion Crystal Pulse.
I call it Anion, man. Is that wrong?
Anion?
I don't know. I think it's entirely made up, but there's got to be a correct way to do it.
It definitely isn't a real word, Sean. That's something we can establish.
I know there's someone out there who's like, well, anion is totally a word.
Well, it's totally the second sector of the Protoss corporal forces.
Well, I mean, actually, I started to look at things like, the Corvid reactor. It's actually like a family of bird.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and chitinous is a type of biological word. I mean, all these things in StarCraft 2 come from real-sounding things, but I just don't know enough about anything but StarCraft.
So you just tie it into StarCraft lore.
Indeed.
Well, we'll see if he's able to ever get those crystal pulses for Minigun. But meanwhile, he's busy transitioning into Storm, which is still about a minute away, but he might pick an engagement before that. Still doesn't want to take a bad trade. A bad position just means everything in TVP. One bad fight and you're done.
Weird composition. 10 Phoenixes, 5 Colossus. Looks like the Zealot Warpins from Minigun are going to waltz right by this 4th and head to the 3rd. Very smart move, as there's no defense from Minigun there.
And Minigun, well, he is going to try to do some Zealot run-bys like we've been saying before. He doesn't have... Does he have charge? Oh, he did it. They used it earlier on. Minigun is going to get cleaned up, but at the same time, the pylon here does represent a nice threat while he buys time. This is the most important thing because 3-3 has just started, Sean, and it's 21 minutes in the game.
I mean, this is considered a Protoss staple in this matchup. You don't do anything unless you are getting way far ahead in the upgrade battle, but Minigun showing that there are, in fact, alternative ways to play. Expansion spread out like this almost always would be considered very weak play, but of course the Phoenix's ability to run around, snipe off everything, is a huge edge. And DeMusliM, look at the bank for DeMusliM. Look at the angle for DeMusliM. He needs to get into the right position. He only has 8 barracks.
Oh, and he doesn't have that much production.
Oh, no,
big
my
damage.
God.
Oh my goodness, massive damage upon all the Terran army, and DeMusliM took a very poor trade, doesn't have that many medevacs, and they're all already low on energy, and he already stimmed once, so he has to stim again. That's as if he gets stormed one more time.
Those medevacs are broke on energy. This angle is horrendous. I mean, right now, we're seeing all the Vikings fall almost immediately. It's Colossus versus pure bio. Ghosts are getting produced. Phoenix count remains high. 12 Phoenixes out. 4 Colossus out. Even with 4 Vikings being produced at once, I don't know if it's enough. Third base suffering. The SCVs from DeMusliM actually killed off all the probes at the natural. I don't know how that's possible, but look at this. Kills 1, 3. I mean, wow.
Well, it is the Farmer's Rebellion, as Terry would say. Dark Templar's going into the third base of DeMusliM, but that's just free trade there for DeMusliM. And now he's kind of cornered into this base, which is normally a good thing if Minigun can land the perfect storms and EMP tries to push it off. But this is a nice area where Minigun can kind of divide and conquer. There's a small army that's coming off the reinforcements.
What a beautiful EMP. The Phoenix energy is going to be dropping down very low. Minigun not shy to build his pylon straight in front and center. The Marauder count is extremely high. Suddenly it's not the... Oh, gosh. Minigun gets a clean win. I mean, DeMusliM was just